What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Ethereum today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, all right? It is the 10th day of June. We're already a third of the way through the month. Well, after today, we will be. Sitting here at about $2,700. 22 hours, 28 minutes left in this day. Brand new day here. Had a nice move up yesterday. Moved up 6.8%. That's nice. Outpacing Bitcoin a little bit. I got the Bitcoin dominance on here because, if Ethereum moves up, that's crazy, man, actually. Ethereum moved up more than Bitcoin yesterday, and the dominance still closed higher. That's crazy. Other top 10 altcoins need to start performing well, right? When did Ethereum become the saving grace, man? It's starting to change. This right here, what we're in is what's called a horizontal channel. We were in a smaller one over here. Look at this. Think about it like this, right? This was the move that this smaller horizontal channel produced. I wonder what's coming next on the coin that everybody disbelieves and says is dead and is a know-nothing coin that nobody should care about anymore. Now that everybody's fully injected into SWI and Solana, now that everyone's fully injected into there and out of Ethereum, I wonder what's going to happen with Ethereum, right? It's almost as if all the sellers are gone, so now... Right. We're probably going to go up. $2,700. I don't know if we're moving up today. Maybe. We have broken out of our downtrend in the daily RSI here. I'm really excited to see the dominance starting to come down. I hope it does start coming down. This actually does look like it's going to. If Ethereum takes off, it definitely will have no problem dropping as far as the dominance goes. And I do think that here, just looking at it, a horizontal channel tends to. It's not a guarantee, but I think it's like 60 or 70% of the time. Horizontal channels break out in the direction that the price was heading into the pattern. So whatever price direction came into the pattern, whether it was up or down, that's the direction you will continue, right? Breaking out of the pattern. So I would think that we move higher. Let's talk about that. Plus, you're breaking out of this downtrend. I would think that you're moving higher. You bounced off the 40. You're looking good, man. You got lower lows on this RSI while maintaining higher lows in the price. I guess here you did have a lower low in all fairness. But you ate that bearish engulfing candle up, man. You just didn't even care. And you just found support at other areas of support. Looking very, very bullish Ethereum. Looking very, very bullish indeed. Very bullish for altcoins. Let's look at this on a weekly time frame. High to low. We might have to include Ethereum in the daily analysis now, man, because this might be more relative to the rest of the market than Bitcoin is. That's probably not true, but still, we should probably talk about it more than we do. Golden ratio here, consolidating like this, super bullish. I absolutely believe that we're going to move up. Our next target area is going to be about 3,600 to 3,200. You're at 2,700 now, so not quite a $1,000 move, but something around there. If Ethereum is more bullish than I'm giving it credit for, and I don't hold it. Sorry, guys. My daughter's crying, so I'm just trying to avoid all that. I don't want to restart the video. I feel like it was a good intro, so I'm just gonna keep it. But hold on. She gets cranky whenever it's nighttime. I don't know. Either that or my wife is beating her every single. No, I'm just kidding. She's a very sweet woman. That's not. She definitely would not be the type of person to do that. But anyways, all jokes aside. $2,700 is the current price right now. The expectation typically in this kind of situation where you're crowding the golden ratio like this would be to go to the 786, 886, which is 3,200 to 3,600. But sometimes in bullish environments, and I think Ethereum is in a bullish environment, it's moving up, it's outperforming Bitcoin, it's holding up well. It held up better than any other coin did over the past few weeks, and it's got disbelief shrouded in it. It's got all the major signals of being bullish, man. It's very possible that instead of stopping in this zone, we stop in this zone. So I will extend 32 to 3,600 into 32 to 4,100 being a potential target area, something in this. I do like this 886 area being a nice area, but if we look at the price, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to stop here. It makes more sense to actually stop a little bit above the 886. Maybe not quite at the 100, but somewhere at this area where we found resistance before. You could make sense out of stopping at the 786. You have support right there. You had some support and resistance right back here. It can make sense. So don't get too excited. If we stop at 3,200, that's fine. 3,250, that's fine. But I really do think targets above 3,600 are what might be more considerable. Looking at this on a weekly time frame, I wouldn't be surprised if we were making headway there this week and we were there next week. You know what I mean? It could be, I would think by the end of next week, we're definitely up in this area. So Ethereum's going to get a lift up. Bitcoin's probably going to move up too, but I think Ethereum will move faster. altcoins will begin to rally. We'll get the dominance to drop and all that stuff. Good times are coming, guys. This is that finale phase of the bull market that we've been waiting for. It's slowly coming together, but oftentimes the best part of alt season does happen at the end of the cycle, and I think we're getting there, right? We're definitely getting there. If we look at the all-time high from last cycle, November 2021, to the low here in June 2022, the expectation would be that when we see new all-time highs, and we will see new all-time highs probably in July, the expectation would be that we see a price of about $7,750 at least. That's probably where we're going to be. We're at, again, let me tell you what I just said. We're at $2,700 right now. By the end of July, Ethereum's going to be worth just under $8,000. Okay, that's the expectation that I have. Above 7, below 8. Okay, you don't have to be at 77. It's very uncommon to stop above the 100 but below the 22. Like, you don't stop in this area. You normally do stop at least at the 1272 if you break above, but it happens. Sometimes it happens. Let's see if we have any reasons to stop below the 1272. From a high to a low here, if I can get the low on there properly. Come on, there we go. The golden ratio is just above the 1272. If anything, there's more reasons to stop above it, but if we do stop just below it, that 1414, sometimes you do stop just above the 1414, so we could stop maybe at 67. Maybe I spoke too soon when I said $7,000 to $8,000. Maybe we do stop somewhere between about like $67 to $8,000. Something like that could happen. But that's overall the goal, right? That's where I think we'll be by the end of this next phase up. You'll probably consolidate through July, and then going into like the mid part or late part of August and into September, that'll be when we start to rally higher. I would expect that Ethereum by the end of the cycle is at a $14,000 valuation, if not as high as like something above $20,000. Genuinely could happen in a very, very short amount of time by the end of this year, you guys. Or if the cycle continues, if it extends into next year, the probability that we do, and there is a chance that we do extend into next year, 2026. There's a chance that this cycle is right translated, that it's a longer lasting cycle. The probability that we would see a $20,000 Ethereum just goes up if we were to extend into 2026. But looking at the short term stuff, we went over all the long term stuff. Let's go over the short term stuff now. Okay, looking at the short term time frames, the 1 hour, you are pretty damn hot on the RSI. You're up at the 90. Okay, you're right on up at the 90. You know, you're probably going to pull back a little bit. Whenever you get deep readings like this, though, you tend to not stop, right? Like, you might pull back, but you keep going, right? You form some bearish divergence, and then you stop or whatever, and then your RSI cools off, and then you run again. I don't know. Maybe you stop a little bit, and then you keep running it. But I wouldn't expect that we just keep moving at this pace, unprecedented for like the rest of today. I think today, the 10th of June, will be a day to consolidate. If not, at least get some volatility where we pull back, and then by the end of the day, we're rocking and rolling again. So do expect a little volatility. We're at 2,700 now. If you're looking at crypto coins, if you're feeling the FOMO across the board right now because everything moved up, I'd say just give it like 12 hours. Maybe go to bed, wake up in like 8 to 12 hours, and see if things are at a cheaper price, right? And they might, I don't know, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. It can happen fast. Maybe it happens in the first 8 hours. We just drop and then we're back up. Sometimes crypto is really volatile in situations like this, especially bullish ones, because these bullish moves, what they do is they'll just move up so fast that they leave anybody behind who had any doubts. They'll shake out just as fast so that you barely have time to get in, but just enough time for the degenerates out there to trade and go short at the lows, panic sell their bags, and then miss that next high and FOMO in at the top. You know, that's kind of how it happens. So in these kind of phases, I don't expect a long drawn out correction is what I'm trying to say, right? It's going to be something like this, like a short kind of correction, a short violent correction that'll shake you out. And I don't think it's going to be too extreme. We're at 2,700 now. I want to actually look at those fibs. Oh, maybe not those. Okay, so we'll look at the 1 hour time frame again. High to low here. My expectation might be that we do continue from here. I know I said that we're probably not just going to keep moving up at an unprecedented rate, but maybe we do continue, because again, it's not common to stop in this zone. You would at least hit the 2272, 2,800, 2,700, something like that. We probably continue up there to begin the day, and then we'll probably pull back to about 2,600, if not, 26 to 2,650, somewhere in there to find support, and then we'll probably continue to move up, something like that, yeah. At the lowest, I would expect we go to 2560. I don't expect that we go lower than that, but I guess it depends on Bitcoin and the rest of the markets. Good volume, man. This move looks phenomenal. I think Ethereum is really I think Ethereum is really gearing up for more upside. It's just, it might take a little breather, like a little volatility today. But really, I would say that we're probably closer closer now than any other day to breaking out of this range right now. So, I think we will. Typically, you know that you've come to an end of a consolidation phase when you see the volume dying off, right? And it's dead. It's dead. It is absolutely dead. When we break out, the volume will come in. It'll push the price higher. I do expect that within the next 2 weeks we will see prices that are, if not above $3,600, above $4,000. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be pretty nice. So that's all I got to say. I don't really have anything else I want to say. I think I've said it all. So hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves, all right? And for anybody out there, let me talk to some people right now who might be having a hard time in the markets, right? If you're having a hard time, if you're sidelined, if you went short, if you made a bad decision in the crypto markets, there's a good rule of thumb that everybody who's been in at least one bull cycle goes through. And then sometimes it takes 2 bull cycles for you to figure this out. But it's a good rule of thumb, and the sooner that you start using this rule, the better. Never sell out in a bull market, right? Have a hodl bag. Have a bag that no matter how convinced you are that the market's going to go down, you don't sell. Have a bag that's like that, okay? Because you will be wrong. And the market is, you think you're smarter than the market, you're not, right? Nobody is, right? The market will trip you up. Even the best analysts in the world get tripped up. They're not right 100% of the time. And to avoid that, avoid missing out on opportunity, you don't sell out completely. We have crypto. We have technology that is more sophisticated than any other currency that's ever existed in the history of humankind. Why would you sell it at all, especially in a bull market? If this is you, if you sold, if you panicked, if you sold at the wrong time, or you went short, or you did any of that stuff, that sucks and it sets you back and you missed this most recent move up. But you can still make up for it. We still have a lot of cycle to go left. There's nothing wrong with getting in now, even if we have a little volatility and move to the downside. There's nothing wrong with getting in now, suffering through a slight drop, and then waiting a week, 2 weeks for just some serious growth. A month, 6 weeks. It's going to be awesome. The rest of this year, it's going to be awesome. It sucks to miss out, but if you do it properly, if you learned your lesson rightfully this time and you stick to these words, not financial advice, not a financial advisor though, do whatever the hell you want. I'm just saying this is what works for me. Don't sell. Just keep buying, hold. Have a trade bag. If you want to sell, let's say you have $1,000, make like 10% of that your trade bag. Play with $100. If you have $100,000, probably don't even play with $10,000. What, like $5,000 or less? You don't need to play. You don't need to play with more than 5%. If you have $1 million, you can afford. You can afford even less as far as like percentage goes. You don't need to play with a lot, right? You want to keep the majority in the markets. And I hope that this is reaching people who need to hear it, because I've made this mistake several times in my first bull market, where I sold at moments that were so compelling, so obvious that the market would drop, and it didn't. You think you're smarter than the market, but the market outsmarts most participants. That's what it does. And to hedge against being outsmarted, you have to have exposure, especially in a bull market. Maybe this isn't a rule for the bear market. At the same time, some people, depending on who you ask, they would say no matter what, you have a bag that you hold and you never let go of. And if you, depends on how you want to invest. If you're here for this cycle, okay, cool. Sell at the end of the cycle, whenever the hell that is, right? Good luck with that. If you're here for the long term, you're not selling. You're just waiting. It's like the Matrix, right? I'm telling you, no, Neo, I'm telling you, one day when you're ready, you won't have to. I don't know why I did the Doctor Strange thing there, but you won't have to. When you're ready, you won't have to. Whenever you're ready, when the world is ready, you guys, we won't have to sell our crypto. We will just use it as currency. We will use it as tenure, or tender. Tenure. I'll see you on the next one. Hit the like button, subscribe. I'm sleep deprived. Bye-bye.